All right, you guys, happy February and welcome back to another episode of Day by Day Podcast. I am Brittany. This month, as you know, it's February. And what's February? Love month. Love month. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I am not super into the whole okay, let me rephrase that. I am an emotionally challenged person. Is that's the best way to describe it. I don't really do great with super lovey-dovey topics. So you can imagine my discomfort for the month of February because I just feel like it's everywhere. But my feelings about that have changed over the last year or so. I've experienced a lot with love, not even in terms of relationships, like romantic relationships, in terms of family and friendships. I've learned a lot about love over the last year or so. So I had a really different approach to February this year, and I'm kind of grateful for it. I had a really nice February, I would say. Before we get into like the nitty gritty of what exactly I'm talking about, I just want to kind of touch base in general about love, you know, the funniness of it and the realness of it. Funny first because, I can't get through anything without cracking a little jokey joke or just saying something that's on my mind. So when I first think of February, I think of this is the month that you see a bunch of new relationships that you didn't know was happening. You see a bunch of married people re-announcing how much they love their husband or their wife, which, could ups to y'all. Or you see single people making fun of the people that are happily in love. Me. As a single lady, this February has just been really, really great just because I get to watch everyone else's Februarys. And I say that like I was not single last Valentine's Day. I've been single. Dang. Ain't life so rude? I've been single every Valentine's Day. And every time I've been with somebody, it's been not around Valentine's Day. That's really disrespectful. Honestly, you see how life be playing me sometimes, bro? But it's okay. Cause I have a ball just watching, seeing, seeing what relationships lasted between last Valentine's Day and this Valentine's Day. Let me not be shady, but it's just good content, you guys. Valentine's Day is also the time that Love is Blind usually has a season popping up. This season sucks. I don't know if you guys are watching LIB this season. It's so boring. Like, it's so boring. Well, I should say the in the pods episodes were boring. Were so boring. Like I was falling asleep almost every episode. Because they're just like, oh no, it's just all white people chatting it up. The one there's like one black couple that made it past the pods. Actually, no, there was another black couple that made it past the pods too, Brittany and some other guy, but they didn't get picked to be on the season, like to be filmed after the pods. But like still, this season's like pretty boring. The only thing that's happening right now in the episodes is there's a couple. I don't even know any of their names because bro, they all look the same. And I'm not even trying to be racially disrespectful. They all look the same. Like all the guys look the same. I don't know why. I don't know how we allowed this to happen, but they all look the same. And it's not even like I'm saying all white people look the same, but these white people look the same, bro. So it's very hard to follow. But there is a couple that basically the girl had a friends with benefits situation going on a couple weeks for like a little while, a couple weeks before the pods. When she found out she was selected, she cut it off and she went in like completely. She wasn't like dating. They weren't dating. It was just friends with benefits, but she went in completely clean basically to the pods. Because Love is Blind, the way they film it, everyone lives in the same city, everyone's from the same city. Apparently, when they came back from the pods and the boy was telling his boys about, the girl that he proposed to, they start apparently they were friends with the guy that she was friends with benefits with, and they were saying all this stuff about they were together, plan quote cool cool. So the guy was low key pressed, like, oh, my friends have heard this, my friends say this. And the girl's trying to explain herself, like, yo, no, like, yeah, I was sleeping with this guy. It was literally strictly friends with benefits. Like, even her friends had to go meet the man that she's proposed to and vouch for her and be like, yo, like, it's not what you think it is. They were just friends with benefits. We never even like how you know it wasn't serious. She never like we never even met the guy. We never hung out with the guy. That's how you know like it literally was not a relationship. But like she's saying all this stuff and he's just like he just keeps talking about, you know, my friends, but my friends. If you ask me, it sounds like that man wants to date his friends and not a woman. But you know, let's not get into that right now. I'm just saying that's as far as drama goes this season, that's really as far as it goes. And I'm just disappointed in this season because as a Love is Blind connoisseur, this is not the content that I was looking for. In fact, I know they're filming in Boston right now for, I don't know if it's next season. I would say it's probably season 10 because they film the seasons ahead like a year in advance. And I know there's another LIB that comes out probably October because that's how their season usually goes. They do a season February and a season in October. I assume this is season 8 that's happening on TV right now. So I assume Boston's going to be season 10. So that's probably going to be next February. I'm interested to see who's rolling up on there. I'm kind of mad actually that I don't know anyone that decided to do LIB Boston because I would love to go to a LIB wedding. I would be the best reactor, bro. I would just be like, is she gonna say yes? Is she gonna say no? Ooh, put me as a bridesmaid, okay? I will give you content. I'm lying. Don't put me in that position. I don't have to explain myself to the Lord. Please don't do that to me. Complete sidetrack, you guys. I don't know why I did not mention this at the start of the episode. Y'all see I chopped my hair? Check it, check it, check it. Listen, I have hair struggles. Not really. I should say that I'm not the best at trimming my hair regularly. That's my problem. My hair be growing like crazy. Like, I got a haircut that I thought was going to devastate me back in June. My hair grew back out by November. I just never really take like full care of it, bro. Like I'd be struggling. And you know, I'm kind of over braids right now. Wigs make my head itch right now. I just want all my hair out. And I knew the only way I could really do that right now, be a little straight natural, is I had to chop it off. I had to chop off the dead ends, and I had mad dead ends. And I had dyed my hair a couple of years ago, so my ends were really dry and brittle from that hair dye that was still left in there. So I had to cut it off. But y'all see how my hair moves right now? Y'all see it moving? My hair hasn't moved like this in so long, and I love it. So I'm a short hair baddie right now. My hair is a little extra voluminous because I put rollers in last night, and I put a little too many rollers in last night. So I'm giving a little bit of 90s voluptuous at the moment. But that's okay. That's okay. Did I just mess up my hair by tussling it to show y'all that it can move? That's a little Lord Farquaadish right now. I don't care. Anyways, yeah. Long story short, I cut my hair. And so if you see me in public for the next 6 to 8 weeks, because that's probably gonna be as long as it's gonna take to grow out this super super short bob. Yeah, mind your business. But yeah, let's get back to the topic of love. I be getting so sidetracked sometimes when especially like that's the thing when I'm doing all these solo episodes, bro. There's nothing to really keep me bound to a topic. I just be flying all over the place. I'm gonna start having co-hosts. Hopefully next month. I said that last episode, but I'm being serious. I'm gotta start reaching out. I have a few people in mind already to bring on. I just have to like actually formally ask them and set up a time. All that. Whew. Let's talk about love. You know, love is such a beautiful thing. Please don't laugh as I'm talking right now because I know I sound like I'm joking, but I'm being serious. Love is such a beautiful thing. It's many things. Love can be with a partner. Love can be with family. Love can be with friends. Love should be really with everyone. God calls us to love all, right? Amen. Amen. The first thing I want to say about love, it has to do with love with a partner. And let me tell y'all this. Bring back old school love. Bring it back. I don't like this new school love that's out in the media these days. I don't like it. I don't like it. Maybe the haircut got me feeling like I belong in a different world or something. But bring back old school love. The men aren't courting the way they used to court, and I'm sick and tired of it. Okay? I'm not even talking about my own life experiences. I'm talking about in general. Like when I see all these YNs out here just deciding when they want to call a girl they girl, like y'all will be talking for a year and be like, we just talking. No, y'all are in love. You are this close, in my mind, to a common law marriage, actually. But y'all are just talking. Shut up. You're dating. Get over it. That was very aggressive. I'm sorry. But I just get really annoyed by that. Like, I don't know why we have such a hard time just loving people or admitting that we have feelings towards people. And I say that, like, I'm talking about myself too. I also struggle doing that. Like, I just have a hard time expressing feelings towards people. It's just, I've just always been that way. I think I get it from my dad. My mom is the complete opposite, though. She's like the gushiest person you'll ever meet. So I don't know why I'm that way. But in my own defense, I will say, I think that I have a hard time verbalizing love and being able to verbally show people affection. I'm not really good at that. It kind of makes me nervous. It gives me a little bit of social anxiety. But I do enjoy giving people things. I do enjoy my love language, like to others, is acts of service or gift giving. Like I like to do things for people. That's how I show my love. So I am very loving and gushy in that way. Like I love to give people things. I love to put things together and or help people out or just be there for people. That's just very much how I show my affection or that I care about somebody. To be gushy gushy and be like, oh, I love you. Like, thank you so much. You are just so sweet. Da 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 da. No, I don't. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me itch a little bit. I be feeling like that's a problem with a lot of people my age. I just think that we don't really know how to properly express love in the world anymore. And I will say, like, I think it's a spirit of pride that makes us not be able to do that. There's just something, especially with people my age, that we have this mentality that saying I love you to somebody or just showing somebody that you actively care, especially when it comes to like these YNs out here, for some reason, like they be feeling like they can't they can't outwardly show that they like somebody or like want to call them their girl or whatever, like make that commitment too soon, because they don't want to go out looking like a chump or they don't want to go out looking weak in a sense. It's a spirit of pride. Like call it what it is. I'm giving y'all real, but I also give y'all Bible. It's a spirit of pride. Check yourself. And it goes either way. Same thing with girls. Like, men will approach you, but at the same time, we're kind of like giving them the runaround for the longest time before you actually show them that they got a shot. That's a spirit of pride, too. Check yourself. And I point to myself when I say that because I do that all the time. Check yourself. The spirit of pride is a heavy, 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 heavy demonic spirit. Cut it out. Matter of fact, I saw a TikTok the other day that said, I hope that you find somebody that loves you the exact way that you be showing love to God. And before you say, oh, really think about that. Because how do you really show love to God? Like, how do you really be treating God on the daily? For real. How often do you communicate? How often are you keeping it real with Him? How often are you checking in with him, honoring him? Think about it. Think about it. Because that particular day when I saw that, I said, ooh, I, you know, it wouldn't be a bad relationship, but it wouldn't be a great one. And that's not a good answer. I checked myself immediately. I was like, oh, God, I love you so much. Dad! To me, I think it all comes down to a fear of bearing your soul to somebody, or a fear of, yeah, being vulnerable and just like actually submitting yourself to a person. And I will say there's a Bible verse for this. 1 John 4, verse 18. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment, and the one who fears is not made perfect in love. So we can't, like, there's no fear in love. You really have to, if you are loving somebody and you are truly submitting yourself to God, who is love, God is love. Let's never forget that. If you are submitting yourself to God, who is love, and you are pursuing somebody, or you are with somebody and you are in Christ, there is no fear. Therefore, you should be able to love freely. And I'm going to leave that at that, because I ain't nobody's pastor or preacher. I'm just a girl that knows the word. Amen. Amen. And something I used to say a lot when I was younger was, I just don't got, like, I love people, but the act of outwardly loving people, that's not my ministry. Like, that's not my gift. Like, that, I just, I'm not a super gushy person. Loving on people like that, it's just not my gift. And I read something recently in a devotional that completely changed my perspective on that. Love is not a spiritual gift. Love is a way of living. In fact, Paul calls love the law of Christ. God is love. So whether you like it or not, love isn't something that you necessarily have to subscribe to. Love isn't something that, God gives it more to others, to more to some than others. No, no, no. Love is just a straight up way of living. Like, love is an part of you, whether you like it or not. Love is the way that you are supposed to be leading. Like, you are supposed to be leading your life in love. You are supposed to be walking in love. You are supposed to be talking in love. You are supposed to be eat, sleep, drinking in love. Like, everything that you do is supposed to be done in love towards others. God calls us to love all. All. Even if you don't like that person, God calls you to love them. My pastor always says that. Love is a way of life. It's not just something you can pick and choose. You gotta strap up, and love is on you every day. And I wrote down a few things that I feel like really means to adapt the life of love. And for me, that means honoring those around you, celebrating people, being able to really recognize people's journeys, recognize like when they're coming from one place and really elevating to another, being able to really speak that life into them, speak that positivity into them, listening to people, being able to be a listening ear and just having conversations and helping people talk through things, like the people in your life, whether it's your partner, your friends, your family, just being there for them in that sense, connecting with people. Not everything has to be a serious conversation. Sometimes, like, as human beings, we just need connection. Human connection is just such an important part of life. Being able to just spend time with people, being able to just have those moments of fellowship is really important, and that is a lifestyle of love. Praying for people or with them. You can't be afraid to pray for the people that you love. You can't. That's something I've really just really recently learned. When you walk in love, especially when you're walking with God, there are going to be times where God puts on your heart that you need to pray for somebody, you need to pray against attacks for a certain person, or pray with them with something they're struggling with. So you really need to be able to open your heart to be able to do so with somebody. And that's walking in love, advocating for people. Sometimes life is hard, and you can only stick up for yourself or fight battles yourself so much, but God calls us to live in community. So sometimes it's not a super often, like it's not a super frequent thing that happens, but if you notice something is not right, or if you notice that there's a mistreatment of somebody that's in your life, and there's a space where you can safely and respectfully advocate for them, that is an act of love. That is walking in love, advocating for people, the people that you love, advocating for them to be treated correctly. That is walking in love. Laughing with them. A good a kiki can cure the heart. I don't care what nobody says. Being able to crack a joke, just being able to live in joy with each other is to love each other. Crying with them, being able to recognize their pain, sympathize with them, and just support them in that sense too. Not everything's gonna be up in life, and just being patient with them. You know, the hard part about love is the moments in life where you don't necessarily feel loved from that person, or you don't necessarily feel super sweet about that person. You know, everyone gets on each other's nerves at least once. Every once in a while. That's all a part of the human experience. Y'all are gonna get on each other's nerves. It's just gonna happen. Family gets on each other's nerves, friends get on each other's nerves, partners get on each other's nerves. It happens. It's all about being able to step outside of that though, be able to recover from getting upset with them, and being able to be patient with them, and be able to grow past it. For the last portion of this episode, I kind of want to take the time to talk about my journey with understanding love on a new level. And it feels appropriate to talk about it today, or God kind of put it on my heart specifically for today because so today is February 27th, and today marks 1 year since my aunt, my mom's eldest sister, passed away last year. I spoke briefly about her passing in the first episode. It was a really difficult journey for me and my family. From January of 2024 up until today, like this date last year when she ultimately passed away. My aunt was somebody that loved everyone. Like, she truly did love everyone. But she wasn't somebody that necessarily always felt that love back, I feel. And that's such a hard attack on the spirit that I understand deeply, because there are days where, like, I can feel that too. Like, you feel like you are pouring so much love into other people, and you are constantly loving on others. Even like if you don't feel like you can express it the same way, like you do love people so deeply, and it's such an attack of the enemy on your mind to make you feel like people will never love you the way that you love them. And I think that was something that she struggled a lot with in her life. But we all did love her very deeply. This aunt was somebody that, like, has been with me my whole life. She used to live with us when we used to live in Malden, and we had this two-family house. So I lived on the downstairs with my brother and my parents, and my grandparents lived upstairs with her and her kids. So, like, we all spent our time together all the time. We lived together, to the point where, like, when I was little, I never spent time in my own house. Like, I was always upstairs because my grandparents and my aunt were there. And there would be days where, like, because my aunt was the best, bro. Like, she would literally just let me watch TV in her room and chill, and always give me candy or whatever food I wanted to eat. If I wanted McDonald's, that girl's getting it for me. So I was always, like, sneaking into her room, and I would intentionally, like, I would perfectly plan out my afternoon. Like, I would go downstairs and take a bath early. Go downstairs, take a bath, get my clothes on, immediately head upstairs and get in bed with her, and she would have like Winnie the Pooh or something on, and I literally would make sure like I would fall asleep on purpose early in her room because she always left the TV on. Cause so I would know like I would eventually wake up in the middle of the night and I could just watch TV in the middle of the night until whenever I fall back asleep. So that's some like that's stuff I always remember about her. She always was getting us stuff. She's the one that got me my first iPad. She was just always she was always looking out for us. Like she was just always for giving us whatever she could, even when she couldn't necessarily afford it. Like she was constantly giving to like me and my cousins and her kids. Like it was like she was just such a loving person. And the downside of that, of being such a loving person but not always feeling that love back, she never really had the best of luck when it came to a romantic love. To the point where I just feel like ended up it made her end up in situations of being with partners that didn't deserve her. I think is a better way to put it. Didn't deserve her. Were not loving her the way that she should have been loved. So I'm gonna tell this story and try to end it with this story. So last MLK Day 2024, I was out doing something for my dad's cousins. So I wasn't home, but I got a call from my aunt, and I picked up. I wasn't even gonna pick up actually because I was like, I think it was I was at a church or something, so I wasn't gonna pick up. But I was like, oh, just to see what she's looking for. So I pick up and I go to the bathroom or something to see what she wanted. And she was like, "Oh, hi, Britt." And she basically was asking if I would be able to go bring my grandfather to an appointment that he had, a medical appointment, because she was the one that was driving them to all their doctor's appointments. I was like, "Oh, I would have, but like I'm already in Boston right now with my dad's cousins, helping them with something." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And then there was like this pause on the phone, and then she was like, "I love you." And you know, it was weird because like she would say I love you, but like it's not like a super frequent thing, and it just felt very random in the conversation. And I literally laughed on the phone. I was like, "Oh, like I love you too." And I kind of laughed because it was to me it was kind of out of nowhere. And B, like I love you is not a phrase that would roll off the tongue easy for me. Like it's not, it's just like it's an uncomfortable sentence. It was an uncomfortable sentence to me. Like it's not no, it just wasn't a phrase I easily said. So I was like, "Oh, like I love you too." And I never knew. Sorry. I never knew that would be the last time I would speak to her. Um, that would be the last conversation I would have with her before, she would end up hospitalized 3 days later just to go into like this freak accident cardiac arrest to never speak again. So that was the last time I ever heard her voice. And that was the last thing we ever said to each other was "I love you." And I don't like crying on the internet. This feels very wild, but I say all this to say that you never really know the lesson. You never really can understand the lessons that God's trying to teach you until you're actually living in it. And I realized that the discomfort I have with the phrase "I love you" or just expressing love, it comes from a place of a fear of rejection. It comes from a place of just, in a way, trying to protect myself. But God calls us to love. God, it's our way of life. You have to be able to openly love and openly express that love towards others and just give love every single day of your life, because you literally don't know when's the last time you'll be able to do it to somebody, or somebody will be able to do it to you. So I try to love out loud as much as my social anxiety will allow me to. I am grateful to ever have had my aunt in my life. You know, I think God had his reasons for calling her home when he did. I've made my peace with it. There was a lot surrounding that situation that like I won't get into, because it's, not everything's meant for the internet. That's meant, some things are like meant to be private conversations. But yeah, like I learned a lot about love in that situation, and just from her. And I learned, and the biggest things I will say I learned from that situation was, like I said, to love out loud. Just be able, just say it. Just say I love you. Just say it, because you never know. And the impact that those three words can have on somebody's life, you, it's just so big. And the second lesson I learned is to not settle in love. The spirit of rejection is such a strong attack from the enemy that just can sometimes just make you feel like you're so alone. You're never alone. When you're with God, like, you're never alone. With God comes community. There will be people that come into your life to be able to express love to you and just be able to really lift you up in seasons, whether it's family or friends. You will have when you have community, you have love. Love doesn't have to come from a partner. Really, it doesn't. In fact, you find love in a million other places before you find it with a partner, actually. And so for that reason, you don't settle in love. You never settle in love. You just, you have to have a standard for yourself. You have to be able to know what you deserve in life from a partner. And that was something I wish she could have had, but I do know that that's something that I demand for myself now because of what I've learned from that situation. So I know that I have a standard of love in my life, and I won't settle for the standard that I have for love in my life. God will send who he wants to send, but in the meantime, I have such a beautiful community of people that I know love me, even when there are moments of attack when I feel like they might not love me as much as I love them. But I know that's not true, right? Like, I know it's not true. It's just identifying an attack and being able to pray against it as it comes is really what it is. And I encourage you all to be able to identify that in your life as well, too. There's going to be moments where you feel down in life, but you have to recognize that, like, that's your perception, that's not reality. So being able to separate the two and being able to just know, like, no, I'm loved. I'm loved. I'm loved. I'm loved is super important. You know, I actually had Valentine's Day at my house with a few of my friends. And it was a great time. Like, we were just chilling, watching LIB and eating and having fun. Like, that's love right there. So as February closes, I just want to remind everyone that love is not just for 1 month. Love is year round, 24/7, 365. Back to back to back to back to back. And just really recognize and identify all the love you have in your life. Even like whether you're married, whether you're single, like identify all the love you have in your life and make sure you're honoring and recognizing that love and being able to, and knowing that you are walking in a lifestyle of love in every single part of your life with everyone that you share love with in your life. And share love with a stranger every once in a while. Like, you never know what it's going to do to their day. So, on that note, I'm going to end this episode because I almost started crying really bad. I said almost started crying really bad. I did start crying, low-key real bad, and I don't like to cry. But this is a topic that's still like, the grief process is always interesting and difficult because, the hardest portion of it is going to be the first year that you go through everything without that person. Like, you go through your first holiday season without that person, the first birthday without that person, all that stuff. So last year was really tough going through all those firsts together. So like, this is kind of like a really hard emotional day because this day marks 1 year of like completing that first cycle of all of those firsts. So now it feels like we're stepping into a portion of life where like we're just straight up going on without that person. Not that like the memories being erased or we're just like completely forgetting that person, but like now we're walking in a new era, We're walking into a new chapter. And it's just there's a lot to process with that. I got to tap in with the therapist to unpack it for real, but um I but I do feel a joy in my heart today too, to know that we like my family and I have made it through the year and like we're still going. My grandparents are still going. Like, I still got joy in chaos, and I've got peace that makes no sense. Because God is the firm what foundation. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta end it here. Have a great day, you guys. I pray that you walk in love, you walk with love, show somebody some love. And if God is calling you to, shoot your shot. You never know. Have a great day. Bye.